to introduce, and really, Roz, everybody knows Roz anyway, but if you're on the internet and either you haven't been to Panama or, and let me tell you, as a guy in real estate for the last 13 years, or maybe it's 14, I don't even know, in the real estate game, it's all about timing. And of course, they say location, location, location. And Roz Baitel is spearheading, really, she's a community member, spearheading the Caribbean coast. I mean, Roz, you've been in Panama for over 30 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah. She's been back and forth, Panama City, Caribbean. There are so many incredible things happening on Panama's Caribbean coast now, specifically the Costa Arriba of Colon, which is like an hour's drive from Panama City. Below the radar last year, way on the radar now. Huge in a big way. So Roz, I mean, like, I got a million questions for you. I don't even think introductions are worthy, but if you do not know Roz Baitel and you're watching this, you need to know Roz Baitel. So Roz, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. I'm here in the Costa Arriba de Colon.
Cool. Awesome. You're in your place today?
I am. So if you said you have a million questions, fire away.
Awesome. Thank you. So talk to me. So I think one of the most interesting things, of course, anyone that's watching this is probably either thinking about relocating or maybe investing in Panama. And as we know, development and growth drives investments. And if you can get into a place while the development and the growth are sort of happening on the upside, then real estate just follows it. So what is going on up in your area in the Costa Arriba? Let's talk about maybe some aquaculture. I mean, you built a marina and it worked and it's working. When did you guys first break ground on Linton Bay? Approx.
Can you see and hear me?
Yes, it paused for a second. We're good.
I don't know why. Okay, so Kent, as you know, you visited us before. My husband is actually from Colon. I've lived in Panama 36 years. My first 10 years were spent in Colon. I was originally brought here by the U.S. Department of Defense schools. I'm a biologist by background, and I was brought here to teach in the schools that service the Canal Zone and the U.S. military bases back then. So I lived in Colon for 10 years, and this is our backyard. What people need to realize about the Caribbean coast and why it's still considered a sleepy coast is that where we're located was always the weekend beach community for people who lived in Colon. The Canalzonians, the Free Zone people, the military bases. Like you say, we're an hour from the turnoff of Sabanitas, and we're easy to get to. So all of this coast, we're a very linear coast, going basically from Maria Chiquita all the way to La Guaira. We're dotted with little weekend homes and little businesses, dive shops, and it's a very beautiful coastline, as you know.
Absolutely.
White sand beaches, coral reefs, but it's always been fairly sleepy because it's always really been inhabited by the people in the area who had weekend homes here. So from a real estate perspective, for what you do, you and I have talked about this for the 14 years you've been in real estate. You come out and you say, what's there to buy out here? And I say, slow down. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So my saying about the Caribbean coast is we're crawling before we walk. Basically, though, that has served us super well. Because what has happened is it has enabled those of us who are stakeholders in the area, large landowners with large pieces of property who have basically just been sitting on them for 20 or 30 years. It has allowed us to really focus on good development.
Yeah.
And what I like to say is we're sort of like, because I've been here 36 years. I remember Coronado when there was no El Rey supermarket. There was no commercial center.
Sure.
You just made that left turn there. If you could remember where it was, and Coronado was dotted with the same thing.
Yeah.
Small beach houses along the water, primarily of people who were either Canalzonians or Panamanians who had their Pacific beach houses. So I like to think that we're sort of in that emerging market. And time has been on our side because no huge developers have come in and scarfed up. You know, we don't have the big box Marriotts, or not that they're a bad thing, but we've been off the radar. I get why we've been off the radar because we still lack a few bits of infrastructure that large-scale developers would want to see before they throw huge amounts of money at our coast. I get that. Some of those challenges that we face are still potable water throughout the coast, a good source of water. Another challenge that we face is decent connectivity, great electrical. We're missing, consistent and internet, Wi-Fi. We still need to improve our game there. And the third thing is a really good road that bypasses what has become an entire suburb, which is Sabanitas and Pilon, which are great for the people who live in Sabanitas and Pilon. But now to get through that at high traffic areas, it can be a challenge. So COVID hits last year. We see the country locked down. We move out here.
Yeah.
As you know, Kent, my husband is one of the founders of the Linton Bay Marina.
Yep.
So when COVID hit, we moved out here. My husband very intelligently registered Linton Bay Marina as a port, which we are. We loan an office to immigration. We loan an office to the Aeronaval, and we loan an office to the Autoridad Marítima. So a boater can come in and do their check-in here. We facilitate the COVID tests here. So we are a point of entry into Panama. So that has served us well because by being named as a port, we cannot close. We have to be open and we have to serve our clients. The other thing that happened when COVID hit is all the boats in the area decided we need to be somewhere where we have services. Linton Bay, as you know, has a convenience store. We have a haul out crane. We have a fuel
all in the last, and I think, pardon the interruption, but I think it's so nice to put this development in context because, I mean, Linton Bay, fully operational, and there's always more things coming. You guys are adding more infrastructure. This whole registering in a port is brilliant. I mean, that's, talk about first eyes, great first impression when people come into a really nicely run marina. You've got, like you said, a convenience store right there. But really, I think it's so great to be talking about this right now because it's kind of all just come together and everything is just stacking up one on top of the other. You just had, who was out there yesterday? Like Nito or Ivan or one of those guys?
Ivan Eskildsen, who's our Minister of Tourism in Panama. It's actually his second visit during COVID. And he came back in October and really supporting what we're doing because basically Panama was shut down. Who has the only tourists in the country? Marinas.
Boaters. Yeah.
Because boaters come with their own transportation, their own home, and they come with the infrastructure that right now we still face as challenges. They have their own water maker. They have their own wind generator or their own solar panels. They come with their own house. So they have been our biggest cheerleaders. And they appreciate being in Panamanian waters. Obviously, Panama is a beautiful place to ride out COVID. So Ivan Eskildsen, our tourism minister, came in October, and then he reached out to us that he wanted to return and see all the progress. And we were happy to show him.
He did.
Panacea, which is our sea cucumber hatchery, Ocean Builders, which is the company building the sea pods, and then the changes in Linton Bay Marina. So we've been very proud as a community to be able to share our progress, to be able to tell him the ongoing community engagement programs that we have. We have the coral reef restoration through the Reef to Reef Foundation, which is spearheaded by Renee Gomez from Scuba Portobello. But in our Linton Bay area, we are also restoring the coral reefs through Panacea and Linton Bay Marina because we are adding the sea cucumbers to the ocean floor and clean the ocean and help reestablish the reef. So there's a whole community engagement profile that goes along with this that we were able to share. During COVID, apart from us being stipulated as a port and being able to operate, my husband is a member, as you know, of the Rotary Club.
Sure.
And past president of the Cologne Rotary. Through that, we mobilized right away with our community businesses, and we got everybody on board to start to do donations of rice, of chicken, of food bags, and things that the people out here needed. So we were able to build in some real community feel that we're all in this together, whether you're a resident, whether you're a boater, whether you're a business owner. And very proud to say that we're a community.
No,
that's
absolutely. And that's a nice segue into my next question to give some people an idea about what that community looks like. So give me an idea, Roz, of the last couple new faces you've seen of people who have set up shop there, where they came from, why they came, and kind of what they're up to right now.
Great. Well, I sent you an article. I don't know if you can ever patch that into your LinkedIn or your Facebook.
We can post it. Yeah, for sure.
That just came out from International Living. And that's been genius because it speaks to exactly what you're saying. So many new faces, and we're very proud to say many of these are Panamanian. As you know, the board of directors of the Linton Bay Marina is a consortium of very well-known business people in Panama.
A big fish.
So we are very Panamanian. Panacea Aquaculture, which is our sea cucumber hatchery, the first in the Americas, and we've been able to make so much progress during COVID. We are a Panamanian company there. We also have new neighbors, Ocean Builders Engineering, which is a consortium of international people dedicated to innovation, technology. They're building floating homes. And basically, they're leasing a big chunk of Linton Bay Marina, and it looks kind of over there like a shipyard. It's very exciting.
Cool.
And they have the ear of international technology and innovation entities. So basically, yeah, all this has sort of gone on during COVID, and it's given us the opportunity to really focus on building a community that gives jobs to local people at something they can do today. Many people walk to work. When the tourism minister came yesterday to Linton Bay, he saw 20 people going off duty at Ocean Builders getting their pay because it was quincena. He saw our Linton Bay Marina employees, and many of those people literally just come from Los Yunques, La Guaira, Puerto Lindo, Cacique. They either walk to work or ride a bike. So that community engagement is really important. Panacea also at the hatchery, we're employing a lot of local people. So yeah, when you ask about who our community is, right here, we're the boating community who is also very on board. Many of those people have helped us with our toy drives over Christmas, our donation drives. The boaters really want to give back and cooperate as well. So we're sort of, I call it my quirky COVID community.
Yeah. So let's talk about some quirky community members without naming any names. But no, honestly, like, your marina has approximately how many slips? How many boats can fit in?
So I think we're about 90 slips on the dock space.
90.
We've got something like 75 boats hauled out on what they call on the hard. If you're a boater, you know that term, because using our haul out crane to haul the boats, put them on stanchions, and then the owners are able to work on their boats during COVID.
Doing the work.
We have service providers, we have scrapers, painters, electrical. And then we have a mooring field, which they can pay to tie up to one of our buoys.
But just to understand kind of like the marina lifestyle is you've got 90 boats out there plus another 70, 75 up on, hard dock or whatever. But of those 90 boats, like how many people would you say, and I'm just super curious, how many people would you say kind of like live on those things full time?
Great question. And it's coming and going because remember, our clients are foreign. So COVID hits, Linton Bay turns out to be a beautiful, safe place to store your boat. But many of our clients at Linton Bay Marina are not on board their vessels now. They've gone elsewhere. Remember, we're outside of the hurricane path, and soon, in 2 months, starts hurricane season again. So whether they're live aboard or they're just storing their yachts here, it's a great location. So yeah, I would say maybe 50% are actually on their vessels at this time.
Okay.
Some of our clients are boaters, but the crew are living on their boats. The owners are not on board, but the crew are here taking care of all the things like maintenance, upgrades. And I also want to plug all our local service providers, the entrepreneurs that got right in there during COVID. You see, remember I said we're a linear community from Sabanitas all the way to La Guaira. When lockdown happened, bus transportation stopped. One of the beauties of Linton Bay Marina is that you walk off your boat, you go to the road a couple of meters, and you're on a bus. You can go to Portobello or Sabanitas and do all your shopping. Well, that ended with COVID. So we had some entrepreneurs who said, look, we will go to the fish market and come down 3 days a week with fresh fish. We'll go to the Merca, the Panama market, and we'll come down daily with fresh fruits and vegetables. These guys got in it. They gave us their WhatsApps. At the office, they take orders. We now have everything delivered for the boaters. We have a wine purveyor. We have people who bring fine cheeses. We have people who bring meats.
By the way,
baked bread.
Yeah. And by the way, for those watching at home and dreaming of a Caribbean lifestyle, you don't have to live on a boat to take advantage of those kind of purveyors. You can live next to Linton Bay, or you can just have Roz Baitel on your WhatsApp. Be like, hey, when's the wine guy coming? He's like, Tuesday.
Exactly.
When's the bread guy coming? Thursday. What do you want? Here's his number. Order directly. Of course he speaks English. You know?
Absolutely. So that's been really fun. The other interesting thing, and Yvonne the tourism minister was super interested in this because, you know, tourism tends to be sort of in a box and it's hard to wrap your head around alternative touristic offerings. But many of the boats who are paying us to tie up to Linton Bay have listed their boats as Airbnbs. So what happened during lockdown, many of the hotels, as you know, closed.
Yeah.
But if you, and our side is still a little off the grid. So what we saw happening in October when the country started to open up again, we have some lovely catamarans anchored at Linton Bay Marina, and they put their boat up as an Airbnb.
Of course.
People come down. You can have a beautiful 2-night, 3-day stay on a lovely catamaran.
How much?
Food and everything. Oh, I don't know. You'd have to check them. We don't control
Just curious.
But if you, if you follow Linton Bay Marina, either on our Facebook page or our website, lintonbaymarina.com, or our Instagram, and you private message the people who run our social media, they can tell you, oh, well, these are our preferred catamaran or providers.
Right.
So in that respect, that offers a whole other type of tourism that actually it's been fun to watch. Most Panamanians, as you know, internal tourism before COVID was like, oh, I think I'll go to Coronado or I'll go to El Valle. Great places. They knew very little about the Caribbean. But now we're getting a steady stream. And what's cute about it? They're people that are my kids' age. It's fun.
Okay.
They come down, the little girls doing a bachelorette, following the Mensa guidelines. It's not a huge
because
group.
They don't want to go to Vegas. They're like,
they're like
we're not traveling
7 or
Europe.
8 girls.
We're
They're
on a
on a
boat.
60-foot catamaran, social distance, with the mask. I mean, we're taking all the protocols because we have to. Ministry of Health, obviously, very concerned about COVID on our coast, as we all should be.
Sure.
So we've actually, I'll show you something funny. Don't go away.
Not going anywhere. Roz Baitel is coming back to join us and drop some knowledge. There she is.
But when COVID happened,
Rotary Club. Cool.
Yeah, we had these masks made, and
They're
we
cool.
gave them out. We even gave them out to the government officials. So we're the most COVID conscious community. As you'll see, if you look at Yvonne's Twitter feed yesterday, everybody that came is wearing masks and whatever. So yeah, that's been fun to watch. Is that young Panamanians are discovering this coastline?
I know, it's amazing. It's cross-generational, and COVID was the right thing, not the right thing to happen, but you guys are showing solidarity and also discovering new angles, new products, new opportunities, because that's what you got to do in these times. And man, they're cranking. Hey, so Bonnie, nuestro querida en Percy, asked about solar, because we were talking about infrastructure. A lot of folks on solar out there, Roz, or is that an option?
Absolutely. Actually, great question. We also have a new hotel that opened in Cacique, and it's fabulous.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Ciel y Miel. And they've been getting a lot of press during COVID because they're a biosecure, safe, friendly hotel. And they are totally sustainable. Their whole business model is solar panels, storage, lithium storage batteries. They're a sustainable hotel, eco hotel in the jungle. and they have underwater aquifers for water. They're
Wow.
totally independent. It's
How many
really cool.
rooms? That's awesome.
I think 11. You should look them up. cielemymiel.com. They're fabulous. They're hard work.
Cacique.
COVID in Cacique. So to address Bonnie's question, very good question. So
Yeah.
because we're a water-based community and most of our inhabitants right now are on boats, boats are by nature self-contained. Every boat in our marina has some sort of solar panel on it. Some have wind generators. So they're ahead of us as far as that.
Totally.
So, yeah, solar is very doable where we are. Now, Panama, we don't have PPAs with ENSA, which is our electrical service provider. So the power purchasing agreements out here, if you are to implement solar, which you can do, that's great. But the government has not yet facilitated to buy back your excess production. So
Okay.
other places, the PPAs have been set. We're still not there yet. But it's very attractive to do solar, and we actually have many technical providers out here who can install your solar. We have solar on our dock, for example, that powers our security lights every night.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing. And sorry to interrupt, is talking about the contractors and the availability of specialists. I mean, Cologne, the Cologne port is one of the biggest free trade zones in the world. Therefore, number 3. Yeah. So
3 ports and a free zone.
Yeah. So, I mean, for that reason, you are going to have specialists available, and they're 45 minutes from downtown Cologne, if that.
Exactly.
Right. So you can get people out there, which is great. Let's talk about infrastructure a little bit more, Roz. What do you hear about that road that was going to be going on, that was going to go all the way around from Sabanitas to?
I'll tell you, COVID has really helped us with that. I'll tell you, the whole consciousness of doing Zoom conferences gives you access on a personal level to people that before COVID, you never could even get them to pay attention.
Okay.
So,
Like Sabanj.
so many Zoom calls with our local officials. And I really have to applaud, I'm not political here. We all want this to work, but I have to applaud our local government officials, because they've been our biggest cheerleaders in pushing at the level of the Asamblea. So what you have to do is follow where the money is coming down. So from what we understand, there's been an Inter-American Development Bank grant or allotment of money, loan, grant, combination thereof, specifically stipulated for Portobello.
Okay.
Now we're working on what are the implementation avenues for that grant. We understand some goes for infrastructure, which is going to help us with the road and the water and the connectivity. Some goes for culture, which is helping to remodel our historic ruins in Portobello and San Lorenzo. Some is going for tourism, which has programs to help local people with training them to be guides in the jungle. So if you're a tourist and you come in and you say, I want to do a nature tour, we've got local people. Or I want to do a tour and learn how to do Congo dancing, or I want to learn Afro-Caribbean cooking,
Very
or
cool.
I want to learn about the ancient ruins.
Clever.
So it's very exciting to know that all this is taking place.
Yep.
So infrastructure is a big issue, and I have to applaud our congressman. In Spanish, you call him diputados. His name is Nelson Jackson, and he's from here. I have a picture of his mother carrying my daughter Rachel when she was born 29 years ago. And we go way back. Well, Nelson has been at the assembly during COVID, sending us videos of him testifying in front of the Minister of Public Works, Sabonhe, in front of the Minister of Idan for the water, Ducre. He's out there. He's really pushing for this regional development, which I'll tell you the truth is heartwarming as a native New Orleanian. I'm from New Orleans, right? So getting this nexus between your local government officials, the private sector, the developers with skin in the game, getting everybody to lay down and, play ball or sit down and smoke the peace pipe, whatever you want to call it, is challenging.
Yeah.
COVID has given us the opportunity. We have a WhatsApp group and it's called the Cámara de Turismo de Portobello. We're now up to something like 45 members, and we're on it. Our local politicians are on it. So when you ask about infrastructure, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a little bit above my pay grade because these are projects that require multiple millions of dollars that the government needs to be spearheading.
Right.
But my point being, it's on their radar. They know it needs to be done. The point about the road, not only about the traffic and the congestion, but remember, Portobello sits on historic 500-year-old ruins. So the fact that the road must continue beyond Portobello so that tour buses don't have to drive over these fragile roads and impact on these historic ruins.
Yeah,
what we're trying to get is something similar to what Panama Viejo was able to do with their money internationally, and get a road that totally bypasses that and comes out after Portobello, which would allow us to build a beautiful visitor center with bathrooms, with free Wi-Fi, with great infrastructure, with good parking, after. So we hope that.
Absolutely.
And then the water, I had a beautiful meeting in January with the former director of the IDAN.
Guillermo Torres.
Guillermo Torres. He was
That's
lovely.
it's my neighbor. It's my homeboy.
Him.
Yeah,
and
no,
2
he'll be
months later,
president.
They changed the director of IDAN.
He'll be
now
president.
We're back on it again with Ducre, Juan Antonio, the new director, and we hope that he's on board with what we agreed on. It's all good. It's all good. This will happen. I saw it.
It will happen. It's happening already. And like you said, the alignment of private equity or, just private business and development, and then the government comes in, right? Because it's always got to be, they got to be both, right? Government's not interested unless there's money involved. And this is any government, not just Panama.
My first trip to Coronado was in 1985, and it was a 2-lane road. It took 2 hours, like from the city, and another 2 hours from Cologne. I'm like, why am I going out there? So I'm very positive and patient. I might not be here, hope I will, to see all those changes, but I know they're coming, and you can't stop progress. People know that this needs to be done.
Yeah, no, and it's happening. So, I don't want this. We could talk for hours, Roz, but I think you really added a lot of insight. And in case you guys can't tell, Roz has her finger on the pulse up on the Caribbean side, in particular Costa Arriba, and really all of Cologne. So, thank you, Roz. Thank you for dropping knowledge on some folks.
People could reach out. My Instagram is Promises Panama. Taking a little break from my real job there in Panama. We're using the store to do donation drives right now, which you can follow me on Facebook for that. So if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, Roz Baitel through my full name, or Instagram, Promises Panama. And let's continue the conversation. I'll be happy to update you with progress. It happens daily. Yeah, no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to circle back in a couple months, and maybe we can get you to turn the camera. Can you turn the camera around? Would you mind showing people what you're looking at right now? This, we should have done at the beginning. Oh, there's my view. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That needs to be our little thumbnail for this video shot. Not my
view sailboats way back there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's my view every day.
Hashtag paradise. Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, so lots going on. Thank you, Roz. Appreciate you making the time for us. And onwards and upwards.
And I'll share all this with all of our
Claro que sí. Yeah, no, for sure. It's a done deal. Hold on one second. I'm going to end the live, and then you and I will chat.